what is your favorite person or event in history and why?
I would have to say it's a group of persons, which is the United States military and what they do for our protections of our country. It would be kind of maybe surrounding the 4th of July somewhat,
Hmm.
and they're willing to evolve and, um, do what they need to do for our freedoms and find ways to help us understand things. And they're always teaching us.
So, would you caveat that with the British military because our military is largely modeled after theirs?
You know what? I don't know enough about the British military
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
know what they do because I never lived in Great Britain
Hmm.
and all I've heard of is the old history. So I can't put the two of them together at all in any way whatsoever.
So, like the evolution of state militias to like the Continental Army and then the creation of the Navy and all that stuff. So the whole of the United States military, right?
I, I, I can't lump them all together as just a war fighting machine because there's things they do within the military. Everybody focuses too much on just war.
Hmm.
There's other things that they do besides war. And I think that those are the things that that are really, really suppressed down that this country doesn't realize that they do related to what they're assigned to do as being active duty personnel. And even those who are in the National Guard, I believe police and fire department, first responders are assigned to the same, to varying degrees. Um, and unfortunately, the United States public is pulled into things that we shouldn't be pulled into, but we are
Hmm.
used in some areas that we shouldn't be in, but they have been pulling us into activism as they've pulled in the military, which they're not supposed to be involved in, is my understanding, but they have pulled them in. And so I'm not sure how to reconcile that because they're neutral. They're supposed to be fully neutral. However, they are being used. And so I don't know what to do with that, but active duty has other things that they do. They have other jobs, other assignments other than war, which is fascinating because they do have their intelligence and counterintelligence. So, I mean, with counterintelligence, I've never been a part of that. I think that I have on the internet somehow because of if what we're experiencing on TikTok has anything to do with it, um, it's a very bizarre culture. So, but I have to say it all the same. There's a purpose for it because of the legacy media and the entertainment and what they were doing to us related to oppressing our voices and even the foreign nations involved with the money and everything. And the only people who have the ability to understand that is the United States military because that's why they're here is
I'm
to kind
I'm
of.
I'm just confused other than like fringe relations what social media has to do with the United States military.
um because the large networks involved. So, for example, the foreign nations get involved, and they're using their military all the time. That's the one thing I've learned is that they are always doing counterintelligence on TikTok and on YouTube and wherever they can get through. If they can get your phone number, they're going to do it on your phone. and they do it on TV. They can take out advertising, those really, really long commercials, and we just don't know. We have no idea who's paying for these commercials, who's sponsoring them. So they can come from any country and they can insert their propaganda onto our television and our internet for whatever reason to
Well,
sow
you
discord.
you know that like at least with the United States, the uh the entire aspect of counterintelligence isn't performed unilaterally by the military.
Well, right, yeah, I get that they call it a non-government organization right now. Yes, and so there could
No.
be some of NGO is non-government organization, which could be a mix of FBI, police, and even people who are social media experts who understand what's going on and know that things aren't right related to organized networks in media.
No,
So,
what I'm saying is that counterintelligence units within the military take their orders directly from the chief of staff and the government.
well, right, but right now they have an element who are saying that they don't have to. Their orders are to the Constitution. It's not to an individual. They don't have to follow the president. So when they take an oath to the Constitution, it's to the Constitution, not to the president. So they don't have to follow any orders from the president whatsoever, even though a lot of people think they do. They
Wait,
don't.
are you saying that the members of the United States military don't have to take any orders from the president?
No, no, they're
Then what is the purpose of calling the president the commander in chief if he cannot issue commands that are expected to be followed?
well, because so that he can't order them to do crimes to humanity against other nations. So if you remember, 250 years ago, George Washington literally was a commander of the military.
Right,
So
but
he could,
you're saying the members of the military do not have to follow any orders given to them by the president. That's what you said.
correct.
So if the president ordered the members of the military to take the day off, which has been done in the past, like if it's an order, they're going to take the day off. There's going to be no
Probably,
work. It's called a danza,
probably.
day of no scheduled activities.
Yeah,
So
that's not going to hurt them. That's not going to hurt anybody. And I would take the day off too if he
right,
ordered it for
right, but
all business to be closed. Would all business in the United States close down? Probably not, because they're out there to earn that dollar and keep that
right,
grind
but
going.
he's not the commander in chief of private businesses. He's the commander in chief of the United States military. Let me ask you something. If I went up to my company commander who's an O3 and he ordered me to take the trash out, do you think that I have to obey that order?
You take an oath to the Constitution, not your company commander.
That's not the question.
Did the Constitution tell you to take the trash out?
No, but the military, the structure of the United States military and the Uniform Code of Military Justice says that I must obey all lawful orders given to me by my commander.
Well, I would take the trash out whether he told me to or not. I'd do it
But
before he ordered me to take the trash out.
in the context of this hypothetical, he is ordering you to take the trash out. So, again, given the proposition that the commander has told you to take the trash out, would you have to obey that order?
I would just do it to get along with him.
But would you be, you're not answering the question. Would you be obligated under the Uniform Code of Military Justice to obey that order? Yes or no?
I'm gonna probably say yes, that you should follow that order.
So if the President of the United States, who is the Commander in Chief, gave me an order to take the trash out, would I be obligated to follow that order under the Uniform Code of Military Justice or no?
No,
Why?
Well, who is the pres? Who does the pres? Who is the Uniform Code of Military Justice, or who is the Uniform Code of Presidential Justice for the president? So we don't have a rogue president. We have a rogue president at this time, and we have for a very long time, and this is related to inflation and he didn't divest. He's violated the emoluments clause. There's like all kinds of crimes that are wrapping up
How has
against
he
him.
violated the emoluments clause?
He didn't divest from in self-enriching himself. Everybody's been saying that from the beginning.
Then why hasn't he been impeached?
He has been impeached once,
No, no,
twice
no,
already.
for violating the emoluments clause.
I think that that's a military tribunal thing. And
Did
so
Clinton violate the emoluments clause with his peanut farm?
he didn't have a peanut farm. That was Jimmy Carter.
Or sorry, Carter.
I, his was just a family farm. That was the thing. It wasn't like he was making
Yeah,
like lots of money from it. He wasn't a billionaire.
Donald Trump put his properties and investments into a trust. So no, he's not violating the emoluments
He gave it
clause.
to his sons, is what he did. He just gave it
Oh,
to his
so
sons.
he divested himself of these assets.
He just signed it over to. He still has Truth Social.
What is the definition of divestiture?
Divesting means it goes in the hands of someone else that is not immediately to you or your family. Scott Bessent did the best divesting I've ever seen.
Right,
Now, what Scott did,
Donald Trump divested
he
himself of
didn't
the
do that.
assets.
No,
You
no,
just
he
said
didn't
he
do that.
signed them over to his son.
He still has his money though, so he's still
Oh,
manipulating.
so let me get this straight. If I have $10 million in my bank account and I get elected president, I have to give that $10 million to somebody else. Like liquid cash in my bank account.
Okay, what Scott Bessent did was
No, can you just answer the question? I don't want to hear about another person. We're talking
you
about Donald
fully
Trump.
divest it till you get rid of it, and you no longer know where that money is anymore.
So
Donald Trump did not do
a
that.
president cannot go into office with money in their bank account.
No.
Where does it say that in any legal code?
What it's talking about is so that he can't be bought by foreign nations. And so he's proving that he has been, because where did he get his money from in advance of becoming president?
That
Because
doesn't matter.
he couldn't
You're
take
saying that
loans.
if he has if I have $10 million in liquid cash, meaning I can go out and buy something tomorrow that is worth $10 million. You're saying if I have that money like in my bank account, I have to get rid of it or I'm at risk of being bought by a foreign entity?
Uh, correct. So if
Name a president that has done that.
how many billionaire presidents or millionaire
No, I
presidents have we
said
had? We don't have any.
name a president that has emptied their bank accounts for this specific purpose before taking office.
I don't know. It's now is why we're having this public discussion, is because of inflation is what's
Can you
happening,
answer the question?
and the risk of taking over the country through money, and
Can
that's
you
what's happening.
you think
No,
somebody
I
can
can't.
you think
I
that
can't.
someone can take over the country with $10 million in their bank account?
With more through Wall Street,
Oh my
a
god.
hostile takeover. That's what they're doing right now. What do you think September 11th was about?
Do you know the total value of the entire stock market off the top of your head?
No, I don't. I think it's in the trillions of dollars, though.
Yeah, what percent of 1 trillion is 10 million?
I have no idea. I can't figure that out.
So 10 million is 1/100th of 1 billion. So 10
That,
million would be 1/100,000th of a trillion.
yeah.
So you think that somebody can take over the country with 1/100,000th of the total value of the global stock market?
Um, well, okay, if you have a portfolio, okay, if you have a portfolio that's on Wall Street,
No,
okay,
I'm telling you, liquid cash in my bank account. That means I can go to the bank, I can call them up and be like, "Hey, in a couple weeks I'm going to be withdrawing $10 million." And they say, "Okay, yes, we see that you have that in your bank account." I'm not talking about $10 million worth of assets. I don't know how much further I can explain this. $10 million in cash in the bank, okay? Not assets.
oh,
They
well, let
have
me,
to empty their bank account before assuming the office of the presidency.
well, it shouldn't be on Wall Street.
I didn't say Wall Street. You did.
Right. So, I mean, when you have active investments taking place, so he can be in oil, and every time he talks about oil, then he can tell his sons, okay, go in and buy oil now that I've knocked the price down. Please go in and buy oil from the Middle East because I've jaw jacked the price down. He buys in low and then he sells high. They write it up and sell high. That's how they get rich through Wall Street.
Are you saying nobody should be able to do that?
No, they should actually. Did you know that Boeing has actually suspended? I think it's
I
Boeing
feel like every
has
time I ask
suspended.
you a question, you go off on some completely random tangent. I need you to answer the questions that I'm actually asking you in order for us to get somewhere here. Okay. Are you saying that it should be forbidden for a person to buy a stock when it's at a low price and then sell it when it gets to a higher price? Yes or no?
I think we should get rid of the stock market altogether.
That doesn't answer my question.
That should answer your question. I don't like the stock market at all because that's the problem of why we have inflation. That money
The
laundering.
question was not should we get rid of the stock market. The question was, and it requires only a yes or a no answer, should it be forbidden for somebody to buy something when it's at a lower price and then sell it when it's at a higher price?
Yes, it should be forbidden in that and the private sector as well. So we have a
Okay,
cap on
hold on.
things.
Do you have any friends that collect things as a hobby?
No, not at this time. No.
Okay, so then anybody who like collects baseball cards, they buy them when they're at a low price, but they can never sell them if they go to a higher price, is what you're saying.
That's more or less money laundering because we all know that cards are collectibles, but you can't make money from them. But Donald
Yes, you
did do a
can.
he did do a
Yes,
deal.
you absolutely can make money selling collectibles.
Donald did do a
No, no, no,
deal
no, no, no. I'm not gonna just
in the Middle
brush
East
past
with a
that.
Trump
Can
Tower.
you repeat again your assertion that someone cannot make money selling collectibles?
I never could. Let me put it that way. So I had some baseball cards myself, but it wasn't something that I could make money at. So why would you buy baseball cards when they're 25 cents or 5 cents from years and years ago, hold on to them, and then expect that something that's tattered and torn that someone's going to be interested in it? That's
Because
so
think about
it
this.
should
Th-
depreciate.
think
It should
think
go
about
down in value.
think about this, okay? Wayne Gretzky, the most capable and arguably the most famous hockey player of all time, okay? Somebody buys a card, a Wayne Gretzky hockey card, and then goes to, I don't remember what team he was on, but goes to one of his games, and after the game, they see him and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Gretzky, can you please sign this card?" And he signs it. And then after Wayne Gretzky has passed away, they leave that card to their children, and then they figure out that somebody who collects sports memorabilia will buy it for like $20,000. You think that should be forbidden.
Yes, I do.
But
Because it
why?
why is he valued as a higher value than what I'm valued as a human being?
Are
Or a
you
YouTuber.
the most famous hockey player who has ever lived?
I put zero weight in famous people. I don't like them at all.
But that doesn't
They're a,
mean that other people
they're a
do.
part of the problem with our society.
That doesn't mean that nobody else puts value or should put value in.
Then you're thinking of them like cattle and slaves then.
Prove that that follows.
I just told you, you're thinking of celebrities as cattle and slaves to a sales trade where you're enslaving them to inflation and to borrowing money from banks because they do.
No, that leaves the impression that these people are being forced to become famous somehow.
A lot of them are, actually. I
Prove
think a lot of
prove
them
that.
are.
Prove that. Prove that Wayne Gretzky was forced to become famous.
They do that with all the sports teams, like with the quarterbacks, and then Wayne Gretzky. A lot. I haven't. I
Wait,
don't.
hold on. So you don't think that people get selected to play on these teams because they're good, but rather because some like nefarious entity is trying to force this person to be famous?
Well, it's kind of rigged. So they do have a face of fame for each team. They have a coach, and then they have a few players who cause
Why do you
drama.
think they are
They
famous?
cause drama because they're promoted heavily in media, and they're putting money into them heavily. And so,
Okay,
I mean,
what about historical figures like Aristotle or Socrates? Like
they're
imagine tomorrow I went out and I found a personal journal of Aristotle and I sold it for $10 million.
Can you prove that it belonged to Aristotle? How long has he been passed away? I don't know the information on that. How long has it been since he's been passed away?
Thousands of years.
Okay, so that's like the Bible, and I can't prove. So we can have the same discussion with Aristotle and his writings that we have had about the Bible and the writings in the Bible. Identical, same discussion, as in how do I prove that Aristotle actually wrote these things and they're not duplicates or.
It doesn't matter how we determine it. Again, according to the context of the hypothetical, the proposition is given that I have found Aristotle's personal notebook. So it doesn't matter how I found it or how I verified that it was his. The proposition already exists in which I found Aristotle's personal notebook. Okay?
Oh,
So, would you argue that somebody forced Aristotle to become famous, and that's why something that belonged to him would be worth an incredible amount of money?
no, I would what I would say
Wait,
is that
that just goes
after his
against exactly what you said earlier.
after his passing, he probably wasn't famous at the time he was alive, but after his passing, because of what he wrote, someone found either education or history value in what he wrote. So since then he's become famous. So in after his passing, they've kept this urban legend myth going and made him more famous and more famous and more famous as time has passed. So it's historically human beings. If you keep the legend going, then it creates more of an interest for some reason in what
But
he did.
Aristotle wasn't a legend. He was an actual person who wrote foundational works on logic and reasoning. I get the feeling that
Then
you
he's an
haven't no
educator. He's an
I get the
educator.
feeling that you haven't done much of a dive into philosophy and like the history of philosophy just
Oh, I've
because
done a big dive into philosophy because there's every aspect of life has philosophy in it.
name one work by Aristotle. Just one.
I can't right now.
Do you know who Martin Heidegger is?
No,
Name one work by Immanuel Kant.
I can't.
These are some of the most influential philosophers who have ever existed, and you can't name a single one of their works, but yet you say you've done a deep dive into philosophy.
Well, yes, I do my own philosophy. I don't put any weight into other people who are famous. I do my own.
Okay, give me one philosophical position that you hold.
My philosophical position that I hold is that we come from the planet Earth. We're
That's
not put.
that's not a philosophical position.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. What is philosophy?
It's a to me it's kind of like an opinion of something.
No, that's not what I didn't ask what it is to you. I said what is it?
It's just an opinion. It's just words, an opinion of something. I mean, a lot of this stuff crosses over. I mean, it's just new words made up all the time to talk about the same thing.
No, the word philosophy comes from Greek. It means love of wisdom. In the modern sense, it is the study of like reality in the world around us
Well,
in the
right, and
metaphysical sense.
so me, the reality, the world around us is the immediate world. I know I come from the planet Earth, and other people want to argue about religion and that we came from aliens from billions of
All
light
right,
years away.
guys, we have just heard the most profound philosophical take in the history of humanity that humans come from Earth.